It took me 29 years to leave Nigeria, but you are still in my tummy cooking and you're already out of Nigeria. I went on a cruise, a one boat cruise with some of my friends, and I came back feeling really sick and I had COVID. Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Funke Lemo. I post videos about my life in Canada as a new immigrant and how I got here, and just generally share my experiences living in Canada so far. If you're a new subscriber, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button just right there. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And if you're my subscriber, thank you guys for always tuning in and coming back. Much love, and I really appreciate you guys. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing my pregnancy journey in Canada, how it was and everything. Okay, so you guys must have seen that I came into Canada pregnant. Yes, I came to Canada when I was 7 months pregnant. I think 28 weeks and 4 days exactly. All right, let's just rewind. Let's go back to how it started. When we actively started to try to get pregnant, I just felt okay. The first month after we tried, there was nothing. My period came, and the second month, then I now saw that. Even 2 days before I missed my period, I just realized that I was pregnant. I took a pregnancy test and I saw a faint line. I did a pregnancy test at home and I saw a very, very faint line. And I remember asking my friend, I was like, she's a nurse. I sent the picture to her and I was like, what does this mean? And she was like, girl, you're pregnant. So it was a bit of mixed feeling because then I was hoping that I would have already been in Canada, like I would have left Nigeria, but then I was still in Nigeria. I wasn't really feeling anything or any symptoms until I was even cruising, partying. I went for my friend's wedding in Abuja. I was enjoying myself. I'll post a picture right here. I was enjoying myself cruising and partying until I was 8 weeks. That's when I know that Jesus is Lord. That's when I know that there's something called morning sickness. Hmm. I couldn't eat anything. I couldn't drink anything. The only thing I could drink was Gary water. Nigerians, you know what Gary is now. Yes, it was Gary water. That was the only thing I could drink for like 2 good weeks. I was just taking Gary water and I would eat lightly. Anything I eat, even if I eat watermelon, I would throw up. And I lost a lot of weight. Like I went from being chubby and looking yum yum to being like bankere. I lost a lot of weight because I was not eating up until I was like 14 weeks. When I was 14 weeks, I did my first scan and then I saw that okay, there is a baby right there, everything is going on well. I was excited. That was in January, and we kept on keeping on, and at the same time we kept hoping that our PR was going to come because I wanted to leave. So as when I was 14 weeks, I had to register in my home country, that was Nigeria, for an antenatal. My goodness, the first day I went for the antenatal, and I'm not going to mention the name of the hospital. I on my way back home I cried because of the stress I went through just to see a doctor. It's not like there won't be a doctor to see you, but when you see people, you see like over 200 pregnant women. Hmm. And if yours is not eventful, meaning you've not had an, I'm not here to, well, let's just leave all of that. But all my antenatal experiences were not nice back home in Nigeria. And this hospital was on the island, yes, and it's a government hospital, but I didn't experience a good time being there. And I was so happy that God answered our prayers and we left Nigeria. I was so happy. I'm not saying that, of course, I've had friends that have had children in Nigeria in hospitals in Lagos State, and it was beautiful. Well, me, I wasn't enjoying any of the experience. The only day my doctor smiled at me back home in Nigeria was the day I went to collect a fit to fly report. That was the first time my doctor ever smiled at. So I had an uneventful pregnancy. It went really well, apart from the crazy morning sickness I had up until middle of second trimester. My vomiting, my not being able to eat went on till like I was 16 weeks pregnant, and I was not really showing because I lost a lot of weight because I couldn't eat. So me, that food is my comfort. I couldn't eat, so I was miserable. Yeah. So, but I started eating back, getting my appetite back gradually. Then I now started showing, and that was when I did my gender reveal and my photo shoot and all of that before leaving Nigeria. As at then, we already knew that we are leaving the country, so we gathered a few friends and we had a wonderful time. Okay. Now back in Canada, I came in 7 months and a few days pregnant. And when I came into Canada, I already tried to see how I could get a doctor coming in, get an OBGYN, a family doctor, and all of that. That was a long process on its own. But when I came in, the first thing I did was I tried to get my health card as soon as possible. So after getting my health card, then a week after I landed in Canada, I needed to see a doctor because it was a long trip and I was having back pain, like serious back pain, and I was already running out of my prenatal vitamins from Nigeria. So I needed to up it and see a doctor, like that, like that. So I went into a hospital that was just close by with us. I don't have I as at then I had not gotten a family doctor. I don't have an OBG. I was just 1 week in Canada. So I went into the emergency in a hospital. And when I got there and they saw I was pregnant and they asked me, how many weeks are you? I told them I was 28 weeks pregnant. They said, no, I can't stay here. I should go straight into maternity. So that's something you should know. If you're already 20 weeks and above and you need to see a doctor and you're in Canada, you have a health card, meaning the health insurance, you have health card, you don't have to go through emergency. You can see a doctor almost immediately if you walk into any hospital. Just go into the maternity ward and you'll be a doctor will be asked to see you. So I was asked to go straight into the maternity. I went there. Please take note, I didn't have a family doctor or anything then. And I went into the maternity. They got my name, my details, and I told them. So they took me into a room. Hmm. I felt so good coming from a place whereby we will all be standing. Like, this is not to shame, the country or anything, because if I had not gotten my PR, I would have had my baby there and everything would have still gone right. But the experiences would have remained really traumatic for me, apart from the experience of, giving birth. And I was pinching my husband like, are you sure they're not going to ask us to pay any money? And I was like, no, asked us to pay any money. We came with a health card, so we didn't pay a dime. They took my blood, did blood work right there, right then. I was checked. I saw an OBGYN. The nurses were so nice and kind because I needed to know why I was having back pain. They wanted to be sure I was not going into early labor because of the stress of the flight. There, I did an ultrasound. They said they are not going to release me until they are sure that everything is fine with my baby and myself. I felt so good. And I think they gave me an injection for the pain to, like, just to help the back pain subside because they saw that I wasn't going into early labor. It was just the stress. And I had my feet swollen to backlog of the flying experience. So I got checked and everything was good. So while the nurse was attending to me, I was actually nurse. I just came in that I really need an OBGYN to take me as a patient or its patient, and I need, a pediatrician, I need a family doctor. So she said when the doctor that's supposed to see me come in, I could ask her if she would like to take me in. So when she came in, I asked her that would she like to take me in because I'm just new in the country. She was like, no, she's not really accepting new patients now. So the nurse gave me a list of doctors, that are accepting patients that I could reach out to and call. And we left the hospital. But before I left the hospital, they were sure that nothing was wrong and I was all good. So when I got back home, I started making phone calls to different. I saw the hospital I wanted to go to that wasn't so far from where we were staying. So I kept calling until I got one that accepted me as a new patient. And immediately I got that, they had me booked for my next appointment. So my first visit went well. I saw the doctor. When I got to the doctor's office, be that I've not really had a nice experience. It's my first pregnancy, but I didn't have a nice experience in my antenatals back home in Nigeria because of the crowd and how the whole system was managed. But here to the doctor's office and the nurse came to meet me. Hello, how are you doing? There was still a lot of restrictions, putting on a face mask and all of that. So I got into the doctor's office and a nurse came to see me, took me into a room, took my vitals, and told me, how I was doing, asked me if I had any issue, if I was just smiling under my face mask. I was like, oh, I feel so good, like so loved, like, yes, this is what I really want. Then the doctor now came in to see me, checked the baby's heartbeat, and told me that I might need to, because all the tests that was done while when I went to the hospital for the checkup I did when we landed, all the reports was sent to the doctor's office. So he saw a breakdown of my blood work and everything, and told me I needed to get some certain things for iron, more iron supplement because I was having iron deficiency. So he told me to get a particular drug for more iron, and that was it. And I was taking my prenatals, and every of my visits was, I was always looking forward to it because it was a very good experience. I'm not even going to lie. I really, really enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed it. So yeah, that was it. Then I went on a cruise, a one boat cruise with some of my friends, and I came back feeling really sick, and I had COVID. Hmm. That period wasn't funny because I was so scared and I didn't know what to expect. In fact, I did not tell my immediate family members until after I had started feeling better, because I was trying to manage the anxiety and the fear. So I didn't really tell a lot of my husband knew because we were in the house together and we had to both take care of myself. Because I was the only one that had COVID. We were four that went on that bird cruise, and it was just me that had COVID. I don't know how the other three did not have COVID, even including my own husband didn't have COVID. It was tough on me because I was close to, giving birth. I had never been pregnant before. It's the first time experience for me, and I'm having COVID. I treated myself. I was indoor. I was at home. I was even working from home. Yeah, so I took some time off from work though, but and I got better. Then my next appointment, I told my doctor what happened and how I'm feeling now. Then he just told me what I needed to do and all. Once I was 36 weeks, they sent me for another ultrasound scan to check my baby. And that was when they found out that I had a big baby. And so I should be open to the option of having a cesarean section because my baby is big. She's on the large side. Well, I really had an uneventful pregnancy. Thanks be to God. Everything went on really fine until I was 38 weeks. Hmm. The anxiety, how is it going to feel when I'm in labor? How is it? What should I do? How will I know? The anxiety. I was like, how will I feel? Like, what will happen? My friends that will ask, they'll tell me, don't worry, you will know. When you're in labor, you will know. I was having Braxton hikes. I was having false contractions. I'll feel these. In fact, there was a particular day, I was 39 weeks pregnant. There was a particular day, I even went to the hospital because I couldn't sit down, I couldn't do anything. I went to the hospital and they had me checked. And I was told that I should go back home, that my cervix was still closed. I cried that day. I cried because it was like I was already tired. You know why I was tired? Anxiety really messed up with me, and I just want to put this out there. If it's your first time doing something, please don't have expectation. It messes up with your mind. Don't believe it should be this certain way because it can be different when it comes to you. Anxiety really messed up with my mind, and the fact that, okay, most people around me had it this way at 38 weeks, even as their first child, they already went into labor and had their baby. None of them had a full time like 40 weeks. So I was like, me too, once I'm 38 weeks, I should be ready to have my baby and all of that. It didn't happen like that for me. My baby took even extra time in my stomach. I was really fed up and I was tired. You all know, if you've been pregnant before, you know that your third trimester is like the longest trimester. It's the longest. It's the one that is as if it's because first trimester just goes fast, fast. Yeah, done. Second trimester, sharp, sharp. Yeah, go. Third trimester is the longest. It's the one that is as if it's like 6 months instead of 3 months. So I had a lot of anxiety to deal with. I was always like, when will this baby come? Once you're 36 weeks, all of your appointment now becomes every week till you give birth. So my appointment now became weekly with the doctor. My experience with the doctor was amazing. I'm still going to keep saying it was amazing. Every time I go to the doctor's office, it was amazing. Of course, I was already walking like a penguin because I was really heavy then, and my belly was already dropping. I was doing all the exercise I could. So at 38 weeks, I told my doctor to do a sweep for me. I didn't know what it was. If I knew, I wouldn't have asked. I told my doctor, like, can you please do a sweep for me? Because I was tired. That was at 38 weeks. So when I got into the doctor and I said I want them to just check me and do a sweep, she couldn't even do the sweep. I told her to stop because of the pain. Hey, I cried. I was like, who sent me? Who sent me? I cried. Hmm. All my weight was going to my belly. You all know that at the last stage of your pregnancy, you'll be eating a lot and your baby will be getting bigger, like literally every week. So I was already told that I had a big baby, and I was not like, should I start doing intermittent fasting? Because I want this baby to come out from my vagina and I don't want to have a terrible experience. I was open for cesarean section though. If that was what was safe for me, I was really open for it. I'm not part of the school of thought that say it has to be. No, I was open for anything. As far as I am fine, that was it. So we did. We I started thinking to my head, should I start doing intermittent fasting? Maybe that way the baby size will reduce. I lied to myself because my cravings increased. I started eating more because my strength was just I was eating as much as I could, and my baby was there doing in my tummy, enjoying herself. Already had conversation with my friends. When did you guys have your babies? At 38 weeks, they went into labor, 38 weeks, 3 days. So I was expecting that my baby was going to come that period too. But she didn't come. So the anxiety messed up with my mind. I would cry. I'll be like, when is she coming? I will be worried. I'll go to the doctor. Like, can you just bring her out? What can make her? I drank raspberry leaf tea. I drank it. Nada. She didn't come. I would have kicks. I would have false contractions. Nothing. I'll feel better. I said, is it possible for me to be in labor and just feel fine and like and just feel relaxed? Then once you're in labor, you will not be able to do anything. I didn't know. I didn't know until it happened. So I remember the particular Tuesday I was working and I started having back to back contractions. I even used the app on my phone. And when I was terminating, the app told me to go to the hospital. I went to the hospital. They checked me. They said no, my cervix was just half centimeter opened. Half, like half, it's not even up to one, it's half. I cried. I cried. I said, with all these things that I'm feeling, you have not open. Ah, I cried. I cried. I went back home. I cried. I was like, when will baby come? Why is she not coming? What happened to my cervix? Why is my cervix not opening? Nobody wants to hear that when you're close to delivery that your cervix is not opening. Or yes, that your cervix is not opened. It happened like that that day. The next day I started feeling contractions back to back again. In fact, they knew me in the hospital that whole week because I was going there because I was ready to just get out of my stomach. I went there again the next day and they said, okay, that if I don't have my baby doesn't come, they gave me a date. If my baby doesn't come like in the next, they would have to set me up for induction the following week. I said, God, I don't want to have to do all those inductions. Let this baby just come. So by the time I came back home the next day, they checked me again. They said it was just still half. That was twice in a row that they had me checked. They said that my service was just still half. All right, so guys, I think I'm going to stop the video here. I don't want this video to be too long. So thank you guys for watching.